What is up, everybody? Steve here. I hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to talk about the harsh mentality pertaining to getting foreclosed on, but more importantly, I'm going to talk about distressed assets, because I think a lot of people watching this are like myself, where we want to get in the market, we want to buy real estate, and we want to buy it cheap. And I've got ways to create win-win situations where you're able to help somebody get out of foreclosure and you guys are able to accumulate real estate at a discount. So we're going to talk about that, but before we do, I think it's important to understand the mentality of people when they are going through a foreclosure process or a short sale process. And then toward the end, I'm going to bring you into the back end of exactly what we have available for you guys to reach out to people who are currently delinquent on their mortgages, as well as the phone numbers to pick up the phone and actually call these people. So be sure you guys stay to the end for that. All right, so the first phase is what I like to call the uh-oh phase. So in many cases in this phase, they're still current on their mortgage. They're nervous though. They're really like kind of paycheck to paycheck. They're doing everything to keep that roof over their head. They're cutting out all unnecessary expenses. They're really starting to budget now. They're getting rid of Netflix. They're not taking that vacation. They're traveling less, a lot less, and but they're still current on their mortgage. The next one is what I like to call is the false optimism phase, where they feel that they're optimistic in their current situation because now they hit a point where they are late. They basically missed their first payment. They're nervous, but they're still optimistic that they can get back up on their feet. So they might have had a job loss or reduction in pay, or they just overextended themselves, unfortunately. This situation, they've also more than likely have become delinquent on other expenses. So they probably stopped paying on their car debt. If you look right now, the amount of defaults on auto loans is just skyrocketing. Odds are they probably stopped paying on their credit cards as well. Now, the credit cards, this could be devastating because a lot of credit card companies, once you stop making payments on them, other credit card companies are going to get notification of that. Even if you weren't delinquent on theirs, they're going to know about it, and basically they're going to go ahead and they're going to freeze any kind of additional lines, access lines to credit as well. So this is really going to put people into a hard situation. So before, they were using credit cards to pay their bills, to buy groceries, everything else, and now those have been cut off. And now really the last big bill is their home mortgage. So they're like, what's more important? Do I feed my family, or do I stop paying on their mortgage? So this is when they stop paying on their mortgage. They still have a little bit of optimism, and but they know that they have to figure out a plan. The next phase is the denial phase, where they're really they're in denial of what's going on. They're frantic. They're getting the phone calls from the banks. They're getting phone calls from the car loan companies. They're getting phone calls from the credit card companies. It's devastating. They're just like in this mind frame of like numbness, and they're just kind of brushing it under the rug. They're like, this isn't really happening. The next phase of this is the reality phase. This is the heartbreak. They know it's happening. It's a lot of turmoil and destruction going on. They're sad, they're depressed. This is causing financial ruins between husband and wife, and throughout the family. It's a lot of arguments in many cases, unfortunately. And that's the reality phase. It's actually kicking in that this is happening, where odds are we're potentially going to lose our house. The next phase is what I like to call the survival strategic phase. They're looking at things like, now, okay, we're about to lose. The bank's gonna come at any day, and many times they don't even really understand the process. But the bank is gonna come knocking on our door any day and kick us out of here. What are my options? What am I gonna do? Where am I gonna live? And in many cases, they're starting to figure out, okay, here are my options. I can go live with some family members. I can go live with a friend. I can do whatever, you right of survival. You do what you have to do to stay in a situation where you got a roof over your head, you're feeding your family. And so they're really trying to just it's survival mode at this point in time. And then the last phase is the reset phase. This is where they did a deed in lieu of foreclosure, or they got foreclosed on, or they're doing a short sale. By the way, if you're a real estate agent, I've got some courses on both listing short sales as well as listing foreclosures. And if you can help people list short sales and avoid foreclosure, it's huge. That's one of the reasons why I created that course. But this is the reset phase where they went through that process. It was horrible. It sucked. Unfortunately, if they got foreclosed on, that bank can come after for the deficiency. And they're not thinking about that now, but that could come haunt them in the future, 12 months, 2 years down the road. And that could force more financial turmoil in their life, even push them into a bankrupt situation. So it's really bad. And some of these people in the reset phase may have already gone through bankruptcy as well. But the light at the end of the tunnel for these people is now they feel more freedom. They have lower bills. They're not overextended anymore because maybe they went through bankruptcy, but they don't have a high mortgage payment anymore. They don't have a car payment anymore because the car got repoed. They don't have credit, they still have balances on their credit cards, but they can't keep racking that up. So they had to restructure their budgeting for their family expenses. It's less weight on their shoulders as well. Now, why do I bring this up? Because it's important if you guys are going to go after distressed assets and talk to these people directly. You need to know where they're coming from, because this is not a time of pulling one over and hurting somebody. This is a time of being able to help somebody. So there are several ways to go ahead and find people who are distressed, who are not currently paying their mortgage. And if you guys are able to get in front of these people, you guys can ultimately create win-win situations where you might be able to get them out of a foreclosure situation. So there's multiple ways to do it. One way that we used to do it in the past was to actually get onto the Clerk of Court's website, and it would show all the Liz pendants in the state of Florida, whatever county that we were dealing in. And unfortunately, it was a long process because it wouldn't even give you the address. It would give you the legal description, and then we would have to cross-reference it to find the address. And then from there, we could either mail them, or we had to cross-reference again to get phone numbers. So it was a long, drawn-out process. Now, with REDX, as you can see here, I'm signed up for the basically pre-foreclosure system. And right now in the Lee County area, there's over 1,100 people who are basically not paying their mortgage. And as you can see here, I'm going to have to block out the names and phone numbers. But over here to the middle of the screen has their full name as well as their phone number that this system basically scrubs out to find exactly the best phone number that you guys can call on. So if you guys want access to that, I think that there is a free trial for a handful of days that you guys can get access to that. I'll put it in the description below for you guys. It is an affiliate link called REDX. And also, I'm working on something else as well. So if you guys are not a subscriber and you guys want to get in front of more motivated sellers, I'm working on more of a passive system to generate leads where people are reaching out to us with properties that they want to sell or have to sell. And I think it's going to be a really cool situation. So if you guys are not a subscriber, this is something I'm going to be working on over the next several months. And I will bring you guys through that system as well, because I plan on buying more and more distressed assets as they come up and property values go down. So anyway, I appreciate you guys being with me here today, and I'll see you guys on the next video.